Hey, what's up, buddy? Yo. Hang on a second. Just kind of. Okay. Want to share your screen? No, I said you want to share your screen. What? No, not yet. No. Oh, wait. There we go. We mean messed up. Oh, yeah. So what? It's not like Carlos's screen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Do this here. Yeah. Okay. I'm just switching my my YouTube stream right now. Hmm. Okay, good. Well, I was gonna switch it to what you're showing right now. Oh yeah, okay, okay, all right. Yeah, this is looking pretty cool. I like the way this volume, this pivot volume works out. I need to make an adjustment to it though, because I think it's giving me the total like a little bit too late, you know. 'Cause it's kind of cool. Like it's like, well, are you looking at the stream right now? All right, so this side of the box, right, the right side, it lines up with the high that begins the new pivot, right? So this is the range, like the uptrend, and then this is the downtrend, right? So you see you get a downtrend here and another downtrend. Well, that's because you got a high to a low, and then you got another high to a low, but you didn't get a low to a high anywhere here. Like you didn't get, right? You didn't get an uptrend here, so you get a downtrend with a downtrend. So the problem is that, and it's not really a problem, it's just, maybe I just want it to be a little bit faster. When the uptrend ends, or any trend, when it ends, it probably ends, the box is like over here somewhere, right? And then when it validates that it's ended, it shifts the right side of the box over and says, okay, here is your trend. This is it. Like that's your pivot, right? So it tells you that, which is great. But I want it to, I think I want it to react a little bit faster, you know? That's what I want it to do. So I could probably do that right now. Yeah, that was you. That's fine. I think our audio. Oh, yeah. If I do that. Oh, there we go. I think our Discord audio is going through the stream.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll be talking about stuff they won't know. That's just. So you know those like TikTok shorts where on the top of the screen you're supposed to watch of somebody playing a video game, and on the bottom it's the actual short. It's like the actual video of somebody talking, and they do that because people who claim they have ADHD or just whatever, they claim they can't focus on someone talking, so they got to focus on a video game. So that's what the YouTube stream is like right now. We're talking about trading, but they're looking at something else on my channel. Yeah. That's fine. Boy. So yeah, there's.
I have you muted on there.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I got it muted on this end too.
53. 53 is my. If it staggers up there.
Mm-hmm.
As you see, look, at MACD, it's ending the continuation.
Yeah, let me pull up here. Are you using MACD on a higher time frame? Is that what you're doing, or what?
I got on a 5 and a 30.
Okay, show me the MACD again. I wasn't looking. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, I got you.
So this is over. Yeah, you see a lot of lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be over bar.
Yeah.
All right, and then on here, it's already over bar, but I'm just itching on this one, so. I feel that this is gonna come up and then go back down.
So for the MACD, what do you determine as overbought?
So on a MACD, everything that's so let's go on a 30-minute, right?
And I'm
So
not asking because I think you're wrong. The MACD is something that I've been trying to apply my own mathematics. You know how I break down an old indicator and turn it into something like, let's say, fabulous or whatever, just kind of break. It's something that I have been kind of chasing after with the MACD, like certain
yeah, well,
nuances of it. And
yeah, no.
it,
Mervin was telling me all this, and
yeah.
he gave me some settings and
Okay,
stuff. So keep on.
cool. All right. So
No, keep
MACD
on. I'm
overbought.
sorry.
So
So
there's things that the MACD is doing and showing us. And you're right. I do believe that the MACD will show you an overbought and oversold, we'll call it transition or point of momentum, because it's momentum, it's not price. So it's kind of it's very averaged out, right? And I think we just don't really know how to define it visually. Like when the MACD is overbought, it looks like this. When price is doing this, I just need to be able to define what are the two thises, you know?
so
So how do you define it?
so Mervin had me put on some levels on to the MACD,
Yeah.
right? And on the 30-minute, as you see,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
so anything that's above 6,
Above.
right?
Okay.
Above 6 is supposed to be 6. Right? It's overbought, and the EMA. This is I forgot what kind of EMA it is. It's about to be overbought.
So, but these levels, this like 6 and 7 and 12, I think, or something. I don't know what other level. So the levels that you have on there, they're only relative to this asset on this chart time frame,
Correct.
right? Okay. So,
No,
all right.
wait, no. On both, on 5 and on 30.
Well, yeah. So not tied to the chart time frame, but tied to the asset. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
I,
makes sense. Okay.
So what I do is I wait until this helped me get better entries. So right now, as we see, it's coming up, right? And if it switches from 0 to positive, that means
Right.
we have a good entry to come inside
Right.
to do for a long. I'm only getting for 2 ticks, right?
Right.
I mean 2 points, so that's $200, right? So as me analyzing on the 5-minute, it still wants to go long.
Okay.
And on the 30, we still want to go long. And this is a MFI, money flow indicator.
Okay.
With an EMA on it. And this is telling me it's going to be overbought. And same thing on here. So I had a level on 53. So I made 225 today, right?
Okay.
On one of my real accounts. And well, my evolve, right? And the funny thing is, this is gonna stop me out. If it staggers on here, then we're gonna. So then I'm on, TikTok shit and all this shit, right? And this guy's like, "Oh, you see how it turned up?"
Yeah.
Right. So that means there's a strong high.
Right.
Right.
And
It'll take me.
I don't want to tell you something about your volume profile too, but go ahead.
Oh no, the volume profile that I have.
Yeah.
So this is a session and this is a weekly.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, so it's automatic on there.
Yeah, so it's a session and weekly, and this is a flex. So this will tell me
to wherever you're driving into.
Correct. Cool. Yeah.
So the one that's on the session, right? Can you adjust the? Well, you can adjust the settings for it, and it's showing you. Call it the value high and the value low. Right. Those blue lines.
Yeah, this is the value high, value low, and this is the
So the value high and low. What is the percentage that it's set for? Because usually it's a percentage of the total. So if you went into the settings, it would say value high is whatever. I just don't know.
Value profile. It's on a 68%.
All right. So the reason I use a 50%, right? The reason I use 50, and you don't have to change it. I'm just saying. The reason I use 50 is because, or I would use either 49 or 51, depending on my bias, right? So let's just say 50 for a round number. What it's doing, it moves the value high and the value low to an area where 50% of all of the trading was greater. In other words, whatever the largest move was, like from point A to point B, it takes all of that volume and says, hey, if of all this volume is 1,000 contracts, 50% of them, 500 of them were in this confined area, right? That confined area is your support and resistance, because that's where all the activity is. Like all of it is there. And outside of that area is where the trending volume is. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because outside that area is the trending volume. Right now, where your price action is in the trending volume area, which is why you're going to get stopped out if that's your buyback at the top.
Yeah, no. This was a sim because I was doing some.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll tell you right now, once you finish, what I was aiming at.
Oh no, go right ahead. That's it. I just want to let you know why I used the 50.
Why I use the 60? Oh, all right. No, and I switched to 50. Thank you. So I'm gonna leave it like that and test it out.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm doing something. So I'm random TikToks, right?
Yeah.
And this guy is using ChatGPT.
Okay, I love it so far.
On his chain. How you love, right? So all right.
Go ahead, I love it so far.
Right. So I was like, okay, so let me just see what it says. So I used ChatGPT and I said, hey, I'm going to be challenging you to pass a 50,000 profit firm account with day trading. It has a profit goal of 3,000 and a max drawdown of 2,000.
Okay.
Trading ES future contracts. I will send you a screenshot of a 30-minute chart and a 5-minute chart, and you tell me if you want to go long or short at exact price or where you take profit.
Okay.
And stop loss, which would be as what position size you'll use. Feel free to use any form of technical analysis otherwise to figure out. Right?
Okay.
So I send them 2 charts.
To GPT.
Yeah.
All right. Because there's another one called Trade GPT too, which I think it's just like a template version of it or whatever. So it's just,
yeah.
Anyway.
So I sent them over, and it says, it's like sounds like a solid pattern. Send over 35-minute, right?
Yeah.
So I can analyze these charts from the image you sent. Here's my trade. Trade decision short, and this was before when I got my 225. All right, I got enough. So I got in here at 48. This is when I used it. All right.
Okay.
I got in at 48.50 and whatever.
Yeah.
The price is approaching a strong resistance zone. Market in the red and the 30-minute chart. Volume profile shows a high volume nod near 57.48, 57.50, indicating strong resistance. The MACD on both time frame is overextended, suggests the momentum could be slowing. The 5-minute chart shows price stalling near a key level, like forming a potential reversal pattern. Trade execution, entry 48.50, resistance level, stop loss 53. Take profit 735.
Okay.
Position size 3 contacts.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Did you tell it how much of the account you're risking? Because you told it, I think you told it $50,000 account, right? Or what was
Yes.
that? Okay.
It has a profit goal of 3,000 and a max drawdown of 2,000.
Oh my God! Oh God!
So it says risk 4.5 points per contract, 225 per contract. Total risk 675. Target profit 13.5 points per contract is 675 per contract. Total potential profit 2,000. Risk management, risking 0.6% of account on this trade, which is well within the drawdown limit. Our ratio is a 3-to-1, making a solid risk to reward trade. If price breaks and holds above 57.53, I cut the trade early to avoid unnecessary losses. Let me know what you.
Oh my God! That's what it said.
That's what it said.
That is. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that sounds risky as fuck.
Yeah, it is. Think I do.
That is like 70% chance of loss.
Yeah.
God.
But that's whatever. I took 225. Right. I took it.
Yeah. So tell me how it played out. Like, go ahead. Yeah.
So I sent it on this one.
Okay.
At 6:30. At the opening.
Right.
All right, I got in at, hold on, I'll tell you right now. I got in at 45.75 and I got at 43.50. I
Okay.
closed it. Right.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to be greedy.
Yeah, I got you.
Uh,
Gee, I wonder why.
well, it's yeah. One, I don't want to be greedy, and two, it's I can't trust AI.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay. It and on this one, it went. I got in at 48.25,
Right.
and it went all the way down to 41.
But that wasn't part of what it called for.
Uh,
That was your move. Like that's not what GPT called
no,
for.
no. GPT said 48.50.
Okay.
Right, and and entry is 48.50. Stop loss is 53.
Right.
Which whatever it got me out, but I just have 58. I just extended it, whatever. And
Mhm.
TP is at 35, so it's all the way down here.
Okay.
But I'm doing my analysis. As you see, I didn't take a short yet,
Yeah.
all right, because I'm waiting again to this to be overbought in order for me to take a short. And as you see, as everything here, we're still long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are.
And,
So yeah, go ahead and go ahead.
and on my 2 minute chart, we're slightly curving.
Yeah.
And I got a Williams R
Okay.
with RSI on it. Ah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I got your.
What? What's in there? Oh. Okay. In the kill zone.
Yeah.
That thing's badass.
So I got on a 30 and something. But yeah, I'm doing my analysis. And yes, we do want to go short, but when do we want to go short?
Yeah. So yes, you're right. So the market looks like right on your chart. It looks like it was in a downtrend, then it went switched to an uptrend. So the downtrend was essentially the range of. I'm looking at the timestamps on the bottom of your um, right side chart. The downtrend was from 1200 hour. Was it hours? Is that what it is? On the bottom?
Here?
Yeah. No, so all the way back on the left. Yeah, so from like 1200 there. So just after that, the downtrend began. Like a little while after that, downtrend began, right? And the downtrend ran all the way up until I would confirm it just after 1500. Just right around 1500 is when the downtrend ended. That's it. That's when the downtrend ended. There you go. Right, so pull up, pulls down, so you get this little downtrend there. Then right around 1500 switches, right? Yeah.
But look at this gap.
Where's the gap? Oh yeah, what was that? How many points on that gap?
21.
That's nice. Okay.
I'm going for that gap.
Oh,
All right,
that's
there
why
you
you're
go.
waiting for the short. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, all right.
Well,
That's it.
what was yesterday's levels, like yesterday's high and low? It's like
Right
so the
here,
main support and resistance from
716.
yesterday.
These was the vowels.
Okay, so what we would need to do, we would have to look back at my own context. Based on where price is now, I would have to look back to the left to a high and low that is just below current price. Like the high and low that's for yesterday's session is too far away. I would need to see like what's in the way of current price, you know. But I'm not like I wouldn't. It's like it's way back there though.
Yeah. This is a 5 minute, so.
Yeah, so it's not gonna let you get back that far. That's fine.
And then this is just
Oh, this trade ended. Oh, that worked out there. Good. Okay. Now we're back into
no.
buy structure. Sorry, I'm just kind of glancing at my chart.
Yeah, no. Right now, I'm gonna take a sell.
All right, so we're buy some more. So
Order filled.
That's it.
Reversed. I'm just gonna push short again right here. We're pushing short, pushing short.
So the reason Merv put me the Mac these for my entries,
Mm-hmm.
so I could practice my entries.
Okay. Stop right here. No, continues to short. Holy shit.
Oh, you're doing a back testing?
Yeah. So people keep talking about forward testing using like forward testing like coding and strategies. But I don't do that. I forward test like in real time. And the easiest way for
Yeah.
me to do it is like I want to see it happening. So I'll go to a volatile market on a low volatility day. So that would be like any major cap crypto, right?
Mm,
When it's really just retail traders trading it. So the high volatility is just retail traders. Then it's really wild, right? There's less, we'll call it institutional manipulation. I want to see how retail traders react, move this market a little bit on a very low time frame. So this is really stressing these indicators out. So I'm looking at a 10-second chart.
damn, that's a 10-second chart.
That's 10-second chart, yeah. And it still works the same settings as if it was a higher time frame chart. Same thing.
Oof.
So yeah. So I got a new structure. I need to get a new higher low. I don't have that, so I'll just wait for that to play out. Bulls stepped out. Bears stepped out. I have nobody trading in the market, so I just need to look for a balance. Just looking for balance. And that's going to be fair value here, fair value here, whatever that is.
Yeah, I was watching the sweeps and stuff.
Yeah,
It says, hey,
They're automatic. Like as soon as it
confused.
happens.
Are you shorting or buying on this trade? So, Ahmed
What?
respond. Ahmed said
Oh.
something on the chat.
Oh, Faraz, confused. Are you shorting or buying on this trade? Oh, what's up, Faraz? No, I'm not shorting. I'm not shorting or buying anything right here. I'm just kind of I'm streaming the new indicators and just kind of watching them in real time, and just kind of testing them out on a really low time frame chart. Hope you could hear me. We're streaming our voices through the Discord chat right now, so hope you can get that. But yeah, it's not like a signals thing or anything. So hope that answers your question. However, if I was going to be looking for a trade here, what I'm looking for is I'm considering this to be a pullback. I think we are primarily in a downtrend, just to give you a heads up. I think we're in a downtrend, let's say, of a higher time frame, right? And price has moved down. It's already extended. I'm waiting for it to pull back to a decent price, right? And then short down again. So I would be shorting. I'm waiting for price to finish rising to a good price, and then I could take the short. That's it. That's where I am. That's where my context would be right now. So, and then the question is like, where do you short from? Well, these just happen to be, you can see that this trend line was already here from like an hour ago, right? But you see how price finally came back to it way over here and reacted to it. The reaction happens at a pivot that formed almost 30 minutes after the line formed. So these trend lines are really cool. They're like really awesome. The algo was showing a sudden switch, right? And so this is showing, yeah. I know you weren't here nor last night for the quick little thing I was doing with Bucky.
Yeah.
Right, but this accumulated delta volume that's here on this volume indicator. So it's a pivot volume profile. So if you look at it from a, if you look at it from a standpoint like this, it's a volume profile laying down, and it's telling you what happened over here in price action, right? Up there and up there and like up there, just like a volume profile, but it's laying down.
All right.
So that's essentially what that's doing.
Hold on real quick. I got a phone call.
Yeah. Hey, mute your mic. Good. So, Faraz, let me see here. Yeah, there you go. Hey, what's happening here? Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframes are not being sent often enough, which can cause buffering. Oh, hey, I'm buffering. What do you know? Error warning. That's not cool. I don't know why I'm buffering. That's not nice. I shouldn't be. Let's see here. No, that's fine. Yeah, it shouldn't be buffering. It's weird that's happening. Let me see if I have anything happening here. Yeah, Discord's on right here. This is okay here. This is okay. Yeah, there should be no reason to be buffering. I don't know why that's happening. Over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yo.
All right. Yo. All right. So I am going to enter my short.
Good. So on this, what do you call it? On this, oh, you're going to see it in delay if you look at the YouTube stream, right? So let me share my screen with you on Discord so you can see what I'm talking about. Screen 2. There we go.
All right, let me stop sharing.
You got it?
Huh?
You got my screen up? Oh, there you go.
I got your screen up.
So what's happening here is like there's a reading of, accumulated delta volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Delta volume is the difference between buying and selling, right? So if you have buyers and sellers, right, I'm just kind of do this. And I'll give another couple of lines, right? Do that, and then say this down here. Without going into a whole bunch of context, right? Let's just say like, oops, I don't want that. There.
I just did a target filled.
Did it?
No.
Well, you had one open, no?
I had like 3 of them open.
Oh, shit. All right, so
that's probably somebody. Okay.
So where's my thing here? All right, so let's say you have you're trying to figure out if the market's in balance, right?
Yeah.
So like you can have
you double.
Huh?
I'm hearing you double.
Oh, where on the
on here. On Discord.
On Discord. Oh, okay. Really? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why my stream is messed up. Oh, do you have me open on 2 browsers? Carlos used to have that same problem.
No, I have your YouTube on a different laptop.
All right, hang on a second. There. Is that better? Well, it's either yes or no. Okay. So, yeah, you should only hear me once. I had something else popped open over here. That's good? Okay. So, where's this thing? So, let's say that this is balance, right? Market balance. So we'll call it balance. 0 wins, right? Nobody's winning. This is where the bulls and the bears are just evenly bought and sold, right? Okay. That would be 0. 0%. That's 0% to the bulls, 0% to the bears, right? Up here would be, let's say, 50%, right? That would be the bulls. Right, that 50% buyers. All right, and then down here you got 50% bears. But for the bears, it there we go. It shows up as minus 50, right? Because it's in a negative. Okay, because you got 0 and then you got a negative. Now, the way the math works is if you're the bulls and you are consuming 50% of the orders, you're actually consuming 75% of the market, right? 25, 50, 75. You've consumed 75 of the market. So the bulls only need to consume 50% more than the bears. That's it. As long as the buyers are more than 50% over the bears, over the sellers, they will win the market. But otherwise, you just have a weak trend long or a weak trend short or a strong trend short. This is the same thing as if you're looking at premium and discount, right? You got premium. You got premium and discount. Same thing. But inside premium and discount, that only works if you know who's in control. So if the bulls, if the delta is on the plus side, then you need to buy when when the delta volume is like down here somewhere, because you'll be buying. And this just means that you are using almost 100%. The bulls are using 100% of their liquidity, right? So they're using whatever percentage, and it keeps rising and rising. Otherwise, if the bears are in control, which would be a negative delta, they want to be selling. They get really good prices here, and then they would be consuming a lot of their orders, almost 100% of their liquidity, just to keep selling down here, right? So that's the context of it, right? And that's where this comes in. You're either 100%, 0%, or minus 100%, whatever the case may be, right? So it correlates to whatever the zone is, right? Let me just delete all this. There. So if you're having a run up, let's say you're having a run up, obviously we're in an uptrend. So I only want to look at the uptrends right now. I can look at the downtrends, but that's only if I want to know what's happening with the pullback, right? The downtrend's taking place, and I could see, like, are the bears using 100%? The bears, if they're using 100%, then this pullback is over. If you look at this white number here, right, from the beginning, the bears are using, see, it's minus 87. The bears are using minus 87%. And then it grows and it grows. Then it shrinks, right? And it gets to 100%. At this point, the bears are using 100% of their liquidity to sustain their move. But the main move is uptrend. So that means the pullback at this point is over. It's over. You can just start looking for positive moves. And that's when the delta switches back to the other side. So at this point, the delta becomes 33. So you are in a discount for buyers on this candle. And that's right where the new trend starts. That's it. So now you know exactly where is, like, good price. Good price is here. That's good price. Okay, where did price become bad, right? And that would be the bulls are using almost 100%, right, of their. I'm just kind of scrolling along, and they're using. Nope, that's negative. There it is. So that would be here. This would be premium and discount in an uptrend. That's what that would be. But at least this gets to show you, like, what's happening with that trend. And the trend only changes when a new pivot shows up. Oh, that's it. And if you're so the point of this is to help you like hold on to your trades, right? If you're trading long and this starts becoming a negative number with a green box, well, then that means you've lost that green uptrend because the delta has switched to the downside. That's it. If you're trending up, your delta should be positive, and it should be somewhere between 25 to 50%. Above 50%, then it's starting to range like too much liquidity. Gets higher to 100, way too much liquidity. If it starts running backwards, like you see it just kind of become less and less and less, and it goes against the green, it turns red, then you know you've lost the move. So that's it. Yeah. So it gives you a volume profile of what happened on each pivot, and you get to see what's happening, like, currently with your, like, in real time, what's happening with the current one. Are you gaining or losing? And then you can also scroll backwards on any candle and see where it was 100%, where it was 0%, right? And that's it. So the thing I'm going to add is, I'll turn this one off. I want to add in some kind of markers here on the candles. I think I want to do it. Where did the trend hit 100%? Like, where was that? So that was here and there. Yeah. from words. So for us, the way I'm getting the signal, oh, are you in the bathroom? Sounds is so strange. Oh yeah, so it's picking up that, huh? Let me see here. Let me go ahead and fix that. All right, so let me bring this down here. Give me 1 second, guys. Thanks for that. Where's the filters? Discord's off. Mic here. There's no filters there. No filters there. Let me shut this one off. Oh, okay. There. Let me know if it's still echoing. Ow. I think it's because while I was talking, I could be wrong. I think it's because while I was talking, I wasn't facing the microphone. I was like facing towards the wall instead of having the microphone in front of me. Now yeah. All right, so we're good there. So anyway, thanks for us. So the question was, where am I getting the information for buyers and sellers? And let me switch this back up here. There we go. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just like in the background adjusting my screens. So anyway, so I'm getting the buyers and sellers because I can. So this is basically telling me the up volume, right? Because candles are closing long, and I'm getting trending pivots, right? Just getting a low to a high. I don't have a new high or a new low yet. I don't have one. So this zone just keeps printing, right? So it's telling me how much volume has accumulated in this uptrend. So it's giving me a range. What the fuck was that? Oh, so to give you an idea, when you're looking at pivots, for us, this is probably going to answer you very easily. And Nora, you weren't here for this last night. If price starts here, right, and it's a swing low, and it ends over here in, later in time, and it gives you a swing high, what you have is price did something, gave you a low, and then it's doing all kinds of whatever, and it ends up here, and it goes down here, right? So what you have is a low, right, and a high. Well, if you look at what that is on a higher time frame, a pivot is a candle on a higher time frame. That's what pivots are. That's all they are. They're highs and lows of a higher time frame. So I'm looking at the highs and lows that are taking place in the pivots, and I'm using them in the context of being higher time frame candles, right? So you got your high up there. The low starts over here, and currently the high is there. This box is going to end soon. It's going to shift over, and it's going to give me a new box because I'm getting lower lows. So this is essentially, I don't know where the lowest close is or the highest close, depending on where that is. And that would be a candle. The new box started, and the box just shifted over, and it said, okay, there's your high. So I'm able to get the accumulated volume of this uptrend, and this delta is a mathematical equation that I'm using to find the difference in the buyers and the sellers. So it's not coming off the order book, right? We cannot get the stuff from the order book or from the DOM, right? We can't get it from here. TradingView doesn't allow that. Even if we could, this is changing so much, so dramatically, like the indicator would not be able to keep up with it. It just like TradingView doesn't allow that for whatever reason. Let me get rid of this. So I'm able to print in real time the difference in the current candle. What is the difference between buyers and sellers? And it's a mathematical way to do that. Even though this label is over here, right? It's lining up with this candle. The label is just telling you what zone it belongs to, but the value belongs to the current candle. That's why you see it changing in real time. All right, and essentially it's telling you you have a downtrend, right? This is telling you have a downtrend. How strong is your downtrend? Your downtrend is either going to be at 0%, which is almost no downtrend, or it's going to be at 100% of a downtrend, right? So this would be like a negative number, right? Percent. And this would be 0. Oops. So this would be 0%. Let's say you can call it 0% strength. And then if the downtrend, if the difference, we're calling it the difference between buyers and sellers. There we go. If the difference ever becomes a positive number, right, while you have a downtrend, then that means you've lost your downtrend, right? See how it's getting closer to 0? It was down to like 13 and 20s before. Now it's at a minus single digit. So you're losing the downtrend. So it's telling you that the reversal is pending or a pullback is pending. That's it, you know. And these liquidity levels that I have here is telling me where I should be selling from. So if I have a downtrend that's ending, I want price to pull back to these levels, and I only want to sell below that level. Like I want price to pull up above it, and I want to sell below it. So I'm just watching what happens here. When price gets here, if my downtrend becomes strong again, I'm going to sell. But if the downtrend continues the wrong way, like I break this, right, and I stay into a positive one, then I can look for a bullish reaction to go back towards previous resistance, like, or whatever kind of resistance is above me. So that's it. So that's how I'm getting the difference for the buyers and sellers. So it's not the actual buyers and sellers, it's a difference in them. There you go. Previously was echoed. All right. Hey, Faraz, do me a favor. Tell me if the sound is still good. All right. I think it should be by now. And, all right, cool. Matt Barr, thanks again for coming through. He's been a long time member. You know. Okay. What did I do here? There we go. Ow. So anyway. So yeah, the other cool thing about these little boxes is that when the new zone gets bigger than the previous zone, you have more volume than the previous trend. So you're either killing the old trend or starting a new one. So if your new zone is smaller than the previous one and it's an opposite colored zone, like if your old one was a green zone, the new zone is a red one, but it ends and it's a smaller zone, then all that is a confirmed pullback. It's just a pullback. That's it. So on a higher time frame, it's a smaller candle with less volume. Which here? You got it for us. Which volume? Here as a delta? Yes. So this is, go ahead. So this is the difference being shown as a percentage. So I can find the difference as a total. Like right now, the volume is what? 1.36 thousand. Well, I don't want to do any math. You know what I mean? Like to do the math, if I saw the difference as a actual number, I would have to do the math and say, okay, how much different is that from the current volume, right? I would rather see it as a percentage because the percentage is actually going to show me the strength pushing against or pushing with the current volume. So if my current volume is to the downside and it's only like 2,000, okay, great. Then this number should remain negative. The minute it starts running positive, I have lost my downtrend. So this is moving down. This number, you can already see it. It's positive. It's positive by almost 25%. And that's where I gave you those values. Is it 0 to 25 to 50 to 100%, right? So now we're running into, 25%. This is still a pullback, right? This is still a pullback. Really? Is it like really bad, like really delayed or something? That's what it is. The problem is this. Okay. Some reason I'm getting this error on my YouTube. Here, I'll put it up on my screen. I don't think the problem is you. The problem is me. It's this. Like, see on my screen? jump off of. Oh, I see. All right, I got you. Yeah, let me end this one here and there. Okay. All right. So Nora, give it a good few seconds to for the delay to wind down or whatever the case may be, and then we'll be able to see. Okay. So yeah. So Nora, the problem is that my signal strength is not really quality for some reason. I don't know why, guys. I've got a bad signal. Not sure why I have bad internet. This is supposed to be, what is this? Fiber optic, and it's kind of crapping out today for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. So let's see here. Close out of this one. There. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Nor. I think if we can show this delta percent at different time intervals on the same chart, accuracy can increase for the trade. So, Faraz, what you're talking about is being able, and correct me if I'm wrong, you want to know the delta percentage in the past, right? While still being, you can't Discord. So, yeah, Nora, I should be able to Discord and YouTube at the same time. I think today is just for some reason, the signal's just not working out. There we go. Faraz, what you're talking about is being able to see the delta percentage here, right? And being able to view it, let's say at this point, right? At some, where price reached, I'll cross this out. Let's say you were looking backwards, right? And you wanted to know where price crossed the pivot, okay? Previously, you want to know what the delta percentage was at that point. As an example, correct me if I'm wrong. The truth of the matter is you can see that, and that's going to be down here, right? It's going to be this white number that's down here. When you scroll over every one of these candles or any one of these candles, this white number changes, and it tells you the delta percentage and whether it's bullish or bearish. So over here, right there, it's telling you that it's 100% bullish. That means the bulls in this candle have used 100% of their orders, 100% of their strength, just to break this pivot. So that's when you would stop, right? And you still have this run up taking place. So you would wait for the delta to come back down to a more feasible level, right? It runs down to 74. I would wait for something between 25 and 50 and still be bullish, right? A positive number. You end up with 80, right? 61, you're getting closer, right? 68. So here, right? You have a positive delta, right? That is just under 50. Like I said, between 25 and 50. You have a positive delta that's just under 50, and you still have a run up on increasing volume. So you can start trading again long here. You did your breakout. You're waiting for that to take place, and then you can start trading long again here. And correct me if I'm wrong, if that's what you were talking about, being able to look into the past and see what the previous delta was. I'm still trying to decide which deltas are the most relevant for this indicator to plot on the chart. I would like for it to give you a little, what do you call it? Well, let me see if I could do this here. I would like for it to be able to give you a little label, right? When you, I want a price label. We'll do a call out. There we go. So when you get a break of a pivot, I would like for it to give you a little label, and it will tell you, right? We'll do this. Plus, all right, cat, I'm right here. Calm down. My cat's on my lap. There we go. I would like for it to tell you, what happened when you broke that pivot. So in this case, it would give you two. It would give you two labels. You broke one here. You broke one here. And I would like for it to give you that information. Right. Let me see. Perfect. Okay. Like for the 10-second candle, you are showing this data. If we merge the data for past 30 candles, we can calculate on the same page for 5 minutes. So what you're talking about is being able to create a look back window of delta, but you would need to see two things, right? I think I know what you're talking about. What you want to see is, in one regard, you want to see the current delta on the current candle, but you also want to see, right? You're also going to want to see the information of the most recent number like average. I can't really say average, but you also want to know like what was the delta. I'll just go one candle before, right? Let's say the previous candle, right? 30%, right? This way you know what the change was between even just the two candles, right? As an example. So the label would show you where you are currently, and it would also show you, I wouldn't put it here, I'd put it below it and move this one up a little bit. It would show you like what was the last candle's delta. So you know, have you changed, which direction did you change from, right? And that's why I put it over here, if that's what you're talking about. That's why I put it over here, just so you could scroll over it, right? You could literally scroll over it and you could say, okay, I was 100, I was 100, right? You could just look back and say, I was 100, I was 100. But to create a window, and let me just kind of read your comment again to make sure I understand it. Thanks, candles, you're showing us data. If we merge the data for past 30 candles, we can calculate on the same page for 5 minutes. Yeah, so because 10 times 30 would be 5 minutes. Gotcha. So here we go. I think I got your idea. I think I have your idea. So the current label can stay there, telling you what's currently happening, right? And maybe if I created an input that told you, let's say it says number of boxes. Let's say there was another one that says number of candles to show delta, right? Number of candles for delta. What it would do is it would take not the current candle, but the previous one, plus the number of candles that you want. I want to go back 30 candles, right? And it would always be looking at the last 30 candles. If a new candle prints, it moves forward, and it only looks at 30 candles. And the label will tell you, right? The label will tell you of those 30 candles, it'll tell you what was the delta. But Faraz, this is my question to you. What would be appropriate for the information, right? Because are we looking at an accumulation of the last 30? Is that what you want to know? Because if I accumulate it, then I need to average it. Because delta in this regard is a percentage. It will only always go up to 100% or minus 100%. But if I'm taking all of the previous candles, I need to average the, let's see, I would need to, and I'm thinking out loud, I would need to average the actual delta, then convert it to a percentage, right? So it will tell you over the last X number of candles, your percentage was X, right? I guess you could say. Yeah, that white color value will show the value of the current interval for which I may display the chart, but the red or green percent can have multi-interval delta value. So yes, I like your way of thinking, Faraz. You're on the same page of where I was kind of going with future development for this, right? What I would like to do is, oops, let me see if I can do this. Give me a second here. See if I can do this. There we go. So what I would like to do is I would like to create a label that shows you current information. And then there would be a line just below it, right? Let's say there'd be a line just below it showing you other information, right? And then a line below that showing you other information. So it would be one label showing you 3 levels of information, right? But I haven't determined exactly what would the relevant information be, right? And I would like to release this once with one change regarding that. That would be like the final thing that I want to do before I release this, because I would like to release this very quickly. So in regards to what you're saying, let's say label 1 has the current, right? And it would actually say right on it, here we go. Where's my thing? It would say current, right? It would just actually say it right there. right? It would say it on the label. So current, bullish accumulated delta, and it will change automatically. Current, 99% bullish or 99% bearish. Bullish and bearish will switch automatically in the label, so you'll know what's happening currently, right? And then it will say, like we were talking about a minute ago, according to your idea. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Historical delta, right? I'll just call it historical delta for now. So historical delta, and it would be based off of the input that you put here. Let's say you went in and you put, X number of bars. I know that's not the indicator, but still. You put X number of, this says boxes, you would put X number of bars for delta, right? And it'll say historical delta, X number of bars, the one that you selected, and it will say the percentage over the X number. But then, and again, it's just an idea, like what would you end up putting down there, right? I could put actual, and then I could put the difference in percentage. You could do a lot of different things there. But what I want to avoid is adding more information inside here. I don't want to add more information in here, because if I do, it's going to force the box to change sizes. I don't want it to change size based on additional information. The only thing that should appear in here is the actual volume of that trend. That's all I want to happen there. And there's a reason for that, right? The reason being, here we go. Let me switch this down a little bit because it's got too many on here. Decimals, line width, there, pivots, delete after 2. We'll do this. I want to have less pivots on the chart for now. There. So, regarding these boxes, how they present themselves visually is extremely important. Like, it's very important. Because if you have a box, right? I don't know why TradingView is doing this lately. This is really annoying. It's stuck. Wow. My screen is completely stuck on one side. I hate you, TradingView, sometimes. Here we go. So I just want to pull this back for a second. Give me a second here. We'll go here. There. So having these boxes draw out the way that they do is extremely important, right? Because once a box is, I'll call it a box or a zone, whatever you want to call it. Once a box or a zone is larger or smaller or even the same size as a previous one, just from a visual standpoint, it's telling you that, hey, I technically have the same amount of volume. Do I have the same amount of price movement, right? That's a key thing there. This applies to the basis of volume spread analysis. If you have a certain amount of volume, your price moved X, right? So if you're in your trend, right, you have a downtrend, okay? You have a downtrend. You can tell because your trend and your volume here is larger than the previous one. So you already know this is a pullback. That's just a pullback, right? If a new zone is forming, let's see if it gets there. Okay. Just want to get close. So let's say you're here, right? The price moved from one point to another. How far did the price move, right? From here to here. High, low here. You just need to get a rough idea, right? You don't need to know exactly. And it would tell you if it's efficient pricing, right? So then price moved again in the same direction from high to low, right? But the volume is a little bit less. If you'll notice, price moved more in the second move, right? Price moved more farther here than it did here. So this is inefficient pricing. This is efficient pricing, which means that, let's say if you just go from a standpoint of what's efficient and what's not, this is a strong selling point because the sellers were really happy with this, but they weren't as happy with this price. They were more happy with this price. So when price comes back to this level, you're more likely to get a bounce here. If it breaks through, you should get a swing right through this. I don't even know if it comes back up there or not. It's probably still falling at this point. Yeah, price is still falling at this point. So, but the other thing is like, these boxes are also important the way that they kind of correlate to each other is because if you have a downtrend, that continues a downtrend. But these bullish boxes keep getting bigger. And what's happening is what you have is what's called absorption in the market. The sellers are selling. I'm sorry. The buyers, this is all buys, right? But the price keeps falling. So you know that the sellers are they're just eating up the orders. They're consuming everything. They're more than happy to do that. But eventually they'll hit 100% of their orders. I'm looking for it in here. It's right here. They hit 100%. If you look over here in this white level, right? Right there. If I just scroll through and you see 100, so they hit 100 here, and they hit 100 here at these price levels, right? So let me just kind of wipe all that out. I remember where they are. So they hit 100 here, and they hit 100 here, right? That's where they hit 100% of their move. So you should start getting a divergence here. You should start getting smaller sells, right? Smaller sell ranges and larger buy ranges, right? And the delta is going to confirm that by you're going to have a sell range with a positive delta over here. And that's when you have a divergence. So there's a lot of things that you can see here. You know, you could see selling volume, right, in your downtrend, like you should, but you end up having positive delta. That would be a divergence between price action and volume. And it's a very easy way to see it. You can see it instantly on the candle as opposed to waiting for let's say a low and a lower low, right? You wouldn't need to wait to see the next low. You're already seeing the divergence right here. They hit 100%, and then the delta starts running into positive numbers at some point. As soon as it does that in a downtrend, you've lost the downtrend. That's a divergence. If you're in an uptrend and the delta runs to negative numbers, you have a divergence, and you're just waiting for price to catch up to the volume. Right. Don't add boxes. It will make. Correct. Yeah, I'm not going to add any more boxes. I simply want to add a label with more contextual information just to make it more applicable to like real time, what's happening, real time information. Not sure if possible, but if we can show the trend of delta percent inside the box as a line or a chart and value at the top of the box. So I did try that. I spent probably 3 days doing that, right? The problem is that the delta ends up being a percentage, right? It's either 0 or 100%, right? And if you look at the scale, right? The scale is here. But I'm already touching 58%. I'm already touching 58. The value of delta is a percentage. So for the delta to be 23, it's like down here somewhere. That's where it is. So when it shifts so small and finite that it makes absolutely no sense. What I had been trying to do is apply delta. I did make it work, but when the boxes overlap each other, it becomes impossible to see the information that you want to see. What do you call it? What I did do was on each bar, the delta was a percentage of this box, right? Which was great, okay? Let me do this. Just kind of do this, do that, there. How about we do this with it? There. So you could say the delta was, the delta at this point was 52%. So the delta on this bar would cover 52% of this box. But then on the next one, it's only 30, right? It's way down here. The delta can shift so dramatically from one candle to the next, and all of a sudden, it can run into negatives, right? It can run into negatives. When it does that, I can't get the percentage of the box because the box is from 0 to whatever. If I want to get a negative percentage, I would need to have an additional box down here. So then this becomes unreadable. Like you wouldn't be able to read this. So I understand what you're saying, and it's a really good idea from a visual standpoint, but from a practical standpoint, it doesn't work. because of the way delta is being calculated. So it just doesn't work. What I would like to do, that's why I want to have delta, specific delta, showing up at at certain intervals over here. Eventually, I'm going to make a version of this that will give you an actual volume profile, right? It'll just do that. Let me kind of put this back to where it was. We'll do this, right? Yeah, that's easy to see. So it'll actually draw from a low to a high, right? And inside of here, it would mark out the candle, like the close of the candle. Where was the delta, right? I thought about doing that and putting a value there. Delta was whatever. That didn't really seem to work out. So then I figured, okay, on bullish candles, below it would be a label to work like a footprint label, right? And it would tell you the delta, which was a really great idea. I haven't finished doing that part yet. So each one of these candles would show you the delta, right, of that candle. So if the delta here was 28, right? If that was 28, then great. Then you get 28 there. And then it leaves it behind, right? And I say that there's 32 there and, so on, and 100 here. So then this wouldn't change its length. It would just tell you the value, right? Which seems to be an okay thing to get. But then again, that works like footprint. So if that's the case, why not just have a footprint indicator, on your chart? And of course, you would be able to cut off a certain number of labels that you don't need, So. Let me see. Not sure if there's although I could visualize it from the chart. Let me see. Let me just kind of read what you're saying again. And Normal, so Normal, the easy way to think of delta is the difference. So if you take, if you have buyers buying 100 contracts and sellers selling 50 contracts, the difference is 50, right? So that would mean what do you call it? Normally that would mean, buyers are buying 50% more contracts than the sellers are selling. But that's not how the math works. So I want you to forget that type of number, right? This is why I'm treating delta as a percentage. It's easier to think of it as a percentage, right? And you can only reach 100%, right? You can only reach 100%. So I'll do this again right here. There we go. There. If this is a delta reading of 0%, right? Then that means the market's balanced. You have buyers equal and sellers equal. What's happening in the market is equal. It's zero, right? Because the delta is the difference. It's not how much of one or the other. It's the difference between the two, right? So now, if the buyers are, what do you call it? Here we go. Do this. If the buyers are buying 75%, because this was 50 above and minus 50 below. Minus 50. Plus 50. Not 500, right? And then you got 0. Come on, play nice. Oh, what is that? There. So if the delta reading that you're seeing is 0, then that means there is no movement. It's equal between the two. That simply means you have buyers buying and sellers selling. Everything's happening equally, right? That's what that means. 0 means equal, balance. But if you have sellers, let's say, if you have sellers starting to sell aggressively, then that means they're starting to consume more of the market. There's always buy orders, right? People are buying, selling, right? So there are buy orders, but as you move down to 50% of your strength, you are a seller, let's say. If you're using 50% of your strength, you are consuming 75% of the market. That's what's happening. You're supposed to be thinking about the difference. Don't worry about what you're doing. You worry about what it took to get there. That's the difference, right? So if you're using 50% of your level, right, and you've only got 100, that means something else was 0, and then you have to account for the buyers of what you took from them, right? It's like having winning and losing days in the market, right? If you have a winning day and then you have a losing day, right? You have what? I've got a $0 account. How do you get you've got nothing. You would need to win 2 days and lose 1 day to get a 1, right? It's the same thing. This is the same thing. If you think about it mathematically that way, there, over here, get rid of that. So delta is pretty cool when you use it as a percentage. If you look up delta indicators, they're going to be telling you the difference as a value. That's where it gets confusing. I don't want to know the difference as a value. I don't care. I want to know the percentage there, because that's going to tell me how much the current trend is using versus how much the opposing trend is losing. There we go. There. All right. I'll be happy to go over that some more with you at some point, Nor. Now, let me close this over here. Discord audio's out. Discord is out. There we go. All right. Anyway, so I didn't mean for this to turn into a whole thing tonight. I was really just kind of streaming my screen. I was just kind of streaming my screen while I went out to a restaurant and had some dinner. So yeah, I think I'm gonna cut this chart, watch a little, episode of Invincible tonight, and just kind of get back into my zone. But like I was saying before, for us, if you look at like current, right, we have a downtrend going on, which means we had a high. And we do have a low, but we don't have a confirmed swing low just yet. That's why this low is still ongoing, right? There you go. So now the swing low has been completed. So now once the trend changes, I want to see, like in the beginning, it always uses 100, always uses 99, always uses that, right? You need a couple of candles to print, okay? If I have a uptrend taking place, and this is bullish, and it's above 50%, right? Oops, sorry. And it's above 50% of its usage, then that means what are you doing? You're using 50% of what you have available. Your strength is 50%. So you can't have that much, I would like to, right, so all of a sudden it runs into a negative, right? At the same time, it starts curving back. So there's a few things to take into context here. If you get to 100% usage, then stop. That's like too much volatility, right? So what you would take out of the context here is that you're looking at an uptrend, but the uptrend is smaller, right? Smaller than the amount of volume used in the previous downtrend. But look where you are, right? You have a high and a low. You have an equal high here. You're using less volume to get up there, which means this is a good price. Right? You covered the same amount of distance here as you had here. And you did it with less volume, like 1/3 the volume. So this could be a trend change right now, like a shift in the trend, right? But you would need to get a higher low and a higher high. Don't rely on the indicator, wait for price action, right? So now, once I see this taking place, right, less volume than the previous range, like this is the range, right? Less volume than the previous range, but an equal price move. Okay, my current volume is less than the previous volume. That's fine. I'm going to wait for the next volume. If this one shows up smaller and less volume than this one, then I know that I no longer have the downtrend. I would need this to grow larger than this, which means I have more selling volume, right? But again, Look at what's happening with absorption again. Like I said before, you currently have what's supposed to be a downtrend, but price is still rising. I said you had this trend. It looks like it was broken at this point. You would need to have a higher low and a higher high. It's forming right now. That's what you have. I have another new trend starting. This downtrend is smaller than the previous one, right? So you are literally watching Wyckoff theory play out in front of you as volume and delta, right? I haven't even been looking at the delta right now. So we got a nice push short here. This is okay, we got resistance here. You got good resistance right there. And I'm just looking at current price action. Get below this. All right, it's a nice stop. Doesn't get below anything. There's no liquidity here on this level. Nothing there. And we're good here for shorts. So we're good here. This, I'm going to do this. Should break through this. Once I get through this level, you're into your long moves, right? This is why you're patient with stuff. So, but the market is actually thinning out right now because I'm looking at a 10-second chart, right? I'm looking at a 10-second chart. So you have to imagine like support is actually on a higher time frame. Like this is the support level. And I'm still inside. Like I'm still inside that zone, right? Yeah, and that breaks completely out. So I'm probably still inside that zone. So I'm not looking for the break just yet, right? So you're going to see some wild activity taking place. You're going to see smaller volume, smaller volume, smaller volume until you get one of these larger and you get a breakout. So always, always, you see your indicator doing something. You don't rely on that first. Take a look at the overall market. I'm looking at a 10-second chart, right? You want to know where is actual support and resistance. And just look how price action played with this level before. And I think I'm off slightly. Yeah, I'm off slightly. But it's still pretty close. Price pushes down, comes over here. Resistance right there. All right, so we have another one. Right there. This. There. That's another one. So I'm just looking at support and resistance on a higher time frame. That's it, right? Now let's see. Any other messages? If not, then I'm just going to kind of drop out. Sorry about the, crappy audio signal there, people. Let me see. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, Norval. Check you out tomorrow, buddy. I'll be in the chat for a while tomorrow. Right. Faraz, enjoy yourself in your evening. Don't remember where you're located. Always good to have you around. And everybody else who's tuned in, I know you're not in the chat, but I know that you're watching. Thanks for coming through. This was an impromptu thing. I just wanted to leave something interesting on my chart while I just kind of step away. I went to get some, dinner real quick. And, I like dropping little teasers every once in a while when I'm, when I have a new indicator coming out. It kind of draws attention. I like it, right? A little self-plug right there, right? So everybody, have a good time. See you next time at the coffee shop. I'm about to peace out. Let's see. What my next video? Somebody was asking me in another chat room, by the way, which is probably why my signal sucks. Somebody was asking about the next video. It's going to be, the different type. Nora, I think I told you about it. Different types of pivots? No, it wasn't different types of pivots. Different types of volume profiles and how to use them in different methods, right? So I'm gonna give you guys like 4 different kinds of volume profile. I'm not gonna give them to you. They already exist. I'm just gonna give you a breakdown of like how you should be using them, ways that you can use them probably more effectively instead of just looking at volume profiles, right? Yeah, all right, Nor, I'll tell you about Delta too. It's great. All right, buddy. Later, guys.